welcome. So you've sent us some really interesting sources, all focused on power, how to get it, how to keep it. Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power is obviously front and center here.
It is. And it's quite a mix you've given us beyond Green. We've got echoes of Sun Tzu, Clausewitz,
Right, strategic thinkers.
and then observations on, court politics, deception, historical examples. It's a rich stew.
Definitely. Now, we know you're busy, so we're not going to just read through everything.
Yeah.
Think of this as like a shortcut.
Yeah, an expedition, maybe. We want to pull out the core ideas, the surprising stuff, the things you can actually use.
Exactly. Giving you a real feel for these power dynamics without the overwhelm. So our mission, understand these fundamental principles.
Let's do it. Where should we start? Law 1 seems like the obvious place.
Okay, yeah. Law 1, never outshine the master. The basic idea is you got to make your bosses feel comfortable, feel superior.
Critical, isn't it? Because if they feel threatened by you, if you make them insecure, well, that's not good.
Not good at all. Green's judgment, quote, sums it up pretty well.
It does. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. Do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear and insecurity.
Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. It sounds almost manipulative.
Well, it is strategic. It's about understanding human psychology, especially ego. People in charge need to feel competent,
Yeah.
in control.
And the classic example is Nicolas Fouquet and Louis XIV, right? Fouquet throws this insanely lavish party.
Insane is the word. I mean, it apparently outshone anything the king himself had done.
And Louis didn't see it as, wow, my finance guy is doing great. He saw it as...
A challenge, yeah, a threat to his own image. Louis was the Sun King, the center of everything. He couldn't be upstaged.
So Fouquet gets arrested, thrown in prison for life, basically.
Right. And then Louis hires Colbert, who was much more, let's say, careful. Parsimonious, Green calls him. Colbert made sure the money flowed to Louis, who then built Versailles, using some of the same artists Fouquet had found.
Wow. So the takeaway, the keys to power here, everyone's got insecurities, right?
Yeah.
But triggering them in your boss is like mistake number one.
Absolutely. They want to feel secure.
Yeah.
Too much talent, too much flash. It can feel like you're undermining them, even if they pretend to appreciate it.
So it's about subtlety. You want to impress, but not too much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Green even suggests things like making the master seem smarter, maybe acting a bit naive, asking for their advice, discreet flattery.
It makes sense. If the boss feels like they can't teach you anything, they might resent you instead of promoting you. It's a tricky balance for you to navigate.
It really is. Okay, law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies.
This one always feels a bit harsh, doesn't it? We're always told to value friendship.
Yeah, it cuts against the grain. But Green's argument is pretty direct. The judgment says, be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. But hire a former enemy, and he will be more loyal, because he has more to prove.
More to fear from friends than enemies. That's a strong statement. Find enemies if you don't have them. Wow.
The idea is that closeness breeds envy. Friends might feel entitled, become demanding. Enemies, on the other hand, they have to earn your trust.
The book gives the example of Michael III, the Byzantine emperor. He trusted his friend Basilius.
Over his uncle Bardas, who was ambitious. Bad move. Bardas felt slighted, arranged for Basilius to be murdered, and took power himself. Ouch!
A pretty brutal lesson in misplaced trust.
But then you have the flip side. Like Emperor Sung in China, he had these powerful commanders, potential threats, right?
Could easily turn on him.
So instead of waiting for trouble, he invites them to a banquet, offers them riches, estates, a nice retirement, if they give up their commands.
Smart. He neutralizes the threat before it even materializes. Proactive.
Very. And Green suggests hiring friends can be awkward anyway. They might feel they didn't earn the job, which can lead to resentment, spoil the friendship.
Whereas enemies keep you sharp.
They do. They keep you alert, focused. You're always watching them. Green mentions Mao Zedong using the war against Japan as, like, a training ground.
Right? Hardening his forces for the later fight against the nationalists. The external enemy made them stronger. So for you listening, maybe enemies aren't always a bad thing.
They force you to be strategic. Okay, so that leads into the idea of deception, smokescreens.
Right. Part 2 in Green's book. Use smoke screens to disguise your actions. Basically, deception is key, and you need ways to hide what you're really doing.
And sometimes the best smokescreen is just looking ordinary, bland even.
Which brings us to Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance, in the dark. Don't reveal your real goal.
Minan de Lenclos had some good advice on this. Conceal your purpose. Do not disclose the extent of your designs until they cannot be opposed. Win the victory before you declare the war. Very Sun Tzu, isn't it?
Totally. Make them think you're doing one thing when you're really doing another, like that con man, Yellow Kid Weil.
Ah, yeah, the Galesburg Lodge scam. He built this whole elaborate story. His uncle, the boxer, the scary financiers.
Oh, just a distraction, right? A smokescreen so the target, Giesel, wouldn't realize he was being fleeced.
Exactly. The whole setup seemed legitimate, familiar even. That's key. Or think about Haile Selassie in Ethiopia.
The emperor. He seems so gentle, peace-loving.
Right. That was his smokescreen. He used it to lure in rivals like Balcha. Let him bring his guards to a banquet, gave him a seat of honor, made him feel safe.
While Selassie's troops were moving in to trap him, that's cold.
Effective, though. There's that quote about him. He creeps like a mouse, but he has jaws like a lion.
So the keys to power here. Best deceivers often seem harmless. Don't be too flashy with your words.
Yeah, big talk raises suspicion. Better to wrap your target in something familiar, something comfortable, while you pursue your real aim. It takes patience. Humility, even.
Being unreadable is a kind of power in itself, isn't it? People don't know how to react to you.
Yeah.
Something for you to think about. How readable are you?
Good question. Okay, Law 4. Always say less than necessary. Ties right into concealment.
Makes sense. The more you talk, the more likely you are to say something stupid or reveal something you shouldn't.
Exactly. Powerful people often impress by being laconic. Saying little, but making it count. Ambiguity can create an aura of power.
Well, people who talk too much just seem needy, insecure.
Often, yeah. Think about Coriolanus in Rome. He also had the people won over, but then he made a second speech.
And blew it, right. Showed his contempt for them, talked himself right into exile.
His words were his undoing. La Fontaine's fable, too, the fox dividing the cheese.
Oh yeah, between the cat and the dog. The more he talks and justifies, the more cheese he eats himself, until there's none left.
It illustrates how trying too hard to explain can backfire. And Montaigne said something interesting about reputation.
What was that?
That we guard our reputation more fiercely than almost anything else. Making someone else the gift of our reputation is hardly to be found. Our words build or destroy that reputation. Say less, risk less.
Like P.T. Barnum initially failing to get the American Museum, his words weren't enough because he didn't have the reputation yet.
Right. And silence. Silence can be a weapon.
Yeah.
It makes other people uncomfortable. They rush to fill the void and often reveal more than they intend to.
Puts them on the defensive. Okay, so reputation is clearly huge. Which brings us neatly to Law 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life.
Cornerstone of power, Green calls it. You have to build it, defend it, keep it polished. Like that Chinese proverb about a good name being priceless.
And the story of Mitsusiya in Wei really shows how reputation colors everything.
Totally. Sharing a peach with the ruler, using his carriage. When Mitsusiya was in favor, those were signs of affection.
But later, when his reputation slipped, the exact same actions were seen as disrespectful, arrogant.
Perception is everything. It's why Castiglione advised cultivating your image, using appearance, symbols, whatever it takes to stand out in the right way.
So you have to actively create your reputation, attach your name to something specific, some quality.
Look at Thomas Edison. He was a master of publicity, constantly promoting himself, making sure he overshadowed rivals like Tesla. He even refused to share a Nobel Prize with him.
Ruthless reputation management. And then there's the tactic of attacking someone famous to get attention yourself.
Like Pietro Aretino mocking the Pope. Risky, but it got him noticed fast. Can't overuse it, though.
Or Mata Hari creating this whole exotic, mysterious persona, changing her backstory.
Kept everyone guessing, fascinated. The press loved it. The mystery was her reputation.
Which leads right into Law 6, court attention at all costs. You can't have power if nobody knows who you are.
Exactly. You get lost in the crowd, you're invisible. You need to create an aura, draw people in, become a magnet of interest. It connects to Law 25 about reinventing yourself, creating that larger-than-life image. Obscurity is failure in this game.
Okay, Law 7 feels a bit cynical again. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit.
Yeah. It sounds bad. But think about efficiency. Why reinvent the wheel? Use the skills, the intelligence, the legwork of others. Green mentions Balboa and Tesla as people who maybe didn't do this enough and suffered for it.
So find people with the skills you need, hire them, delegate, but make sure the final success points back to you.
Essentially, yes. Appear efficient, knowledgeable, powerful by leveraging others' efforts. It's about orchestrating.
Okay. Law 8. Make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. Control the situation by making them act.
Right. When you force the other person's hand, you're usually in control. Lure them in with some kind of bait, the promise of gain, maybe, and then you have the advantage. Patience is key here.
Talleyrand bringing down Napoleon after Elba is a great example, isn't it?
Brilliant. He didn't argue against Napoleon directly. He set a trap. He knew Napoleon's weaknesses, impulsive, needed glory.
And France was exhausted, couldn't really sustain another campaign.
Exactly. So Talleyrand played on those weaknesses, dangled the bait, knowing Napoleon would take it, and walk right into a situation he couldn't win. Talleyrand controlled the timing, the terms.
So it's about setting the stage, making them react on your terms. Very strategic.
Which leads to Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Demonstrations beat debates.
Yeah, arguing often just creates resentment, right? People rarely change their minds just because you want an argument. But show them.
Show them exactly. Look at Leonardo da Vinci and that block of marble everyone thought was ruined.
The one that became the statue of David.
That's the one. Soderini, the leader of Florence, was convinced by past opinions it was useless.
Yeah.
Leonardo didn't argue. He just got permission to work on it and created the David. Action trumped all the negative words.
Proof in the pudding, basically.
Yep. Herodotus warned about words being deceptive, and Leonardo had that fable about the nut in the bell tower.
How a small thing caused a huge collapse.
Right. Subtle actions over time can have way more impact than loud arguments.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This one feels uncomfortable.
It does. It suggests emotional states are literally contagious, like diseases. Misery loves company, and you can catch it.
So hang out with happy, successful people.
That's the advice.
Yeah.
Positive emotional osmosis. The flip side is demonstrated by King Ludwig Sant of Bavaria getting involved with Lola Montez.
The dancer. She was trouble, wasn't she?
Unbalanced, Green calls her. Ludwig's infatuation led to scandals, riots. He eventually had to abdicate. Her negativity dragged him down.
So you can literally die from someone else's misery, as the law puts it.
It's a strong metaphor, but yeah. That writer, Kaikous Ibn Iskandar, compared it to sesame oil. Picking up the scent of flowers, you absorb the qualities of those you associate with.
And Green warns specifically about the chronically unhappy, the ones who always play the victim.
Right. They drain your time, your energy, and their bad luck or reputation can rub off on you. Guilt by association.
But it works positively too, like Napoleon becoming more refined through Talleyrand.
Exactly. So the practical advice for you is, choose your associations carefully. Seek out people with traits you admire or lack. Avoid those who just reinforce your own flaws.
Makes sense. Okay, Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. To be independent, make others need you.
Yeah, the more indispensable you are, the more freedom you have. The Rothschilds are the classic example.
With their private career system and codes.
Exactly. They controlled information, made themselves essential to European finance. That dependence was their power.
But there's a reversal here too, isn't there? Too much independence can lead to isolation.
Right. Sometimes being interdependent, where people rely on you and you rely on them, is actually more stable and less pressured.
Okay, Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. A little bit of truth makes the lies more believable.
Pretty much. One genuine seeming act can cover a multitude of deceptions. It lowers people's guard, like Victor Lustig and Al Capone.
The con man. He pretended he lost Capone's money.
Yeah, then miraculously found it and returned it. That single act of seeming honesty made Capone trust him, disarmed the gangster completely. It played on conflicting emotions.
A powerful, if tricky, tactic. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude.
This feels fundamental. People are moved by what benefits them. Forget appealing to pity or reminding them of past favors. Show them what's in it for them now.
Like the Athenians choosing sides between Corcyra and Corinth.
Exactly. Corinth appealed to gratitude for past help didn't work. Just annoyed them. Corcyra offered Athens strategic naval bases, something Athens needed. Self-interest won.
So frame your requests around mutual benefit. Always ask what's in it for them.
Crucial. Okay, Law 14. Pose as a friend. Work as a spy. Gather intel while seeming harmless.
Get close to rivals, learn their secrets, but keep up a friendly front.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Joseph Duveen, the art dealer, approaching Andrew Mellon.
He didn't go in hard selling, did he?
No, he acted like a fellow connoisseur, interested in Mellon's taste. Built trust, seemed like a friend. and eventually became Mellon's exclusive dealer for life.
So the friendliness was the cover for gathering information and building influence.
Yep. Cotillia warned rulers about spies being everywhere, though. You need skill. It's about getting intel to control future events, probing without showing your own hand.
Okay, now for a really tough one. Law 15. Crush your enemy. Totally.
Yeah, this is ruthless. No half measures. If you leave an enemy wounded, they'll just recover and come back for revenge. Total destruction prevents that.
Caesar Borgia at Sinigalia, luring his treacherous generals into a trap.
And then executing them all. Swift, brutal, decisive, eliminated the threat completely.
Contrast that with Shang Yu letting Liu Bang escape multiple times.
Big mistake. His advisor Fan Seng warned him, crush him now. If you let him go,
Yeah.
you will be sorry. And he was. Liu Bang eventually defeated him. Liu himself learned the lesson. He was ruthless later.
Empress Wu in China too, eliminating rivals even in her own family. It's about removing any possibility of future opposition.
Grim, but effective according to this law. Now, Law 16 is interesting. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Being too available makes you common.
Scarcity increases value, right? Like Diocles, the judge of the beads.
Yeah, he was initially respected for being available, then he withdrew completely. People missed his judgments, begged him to rule. His absence created mystique, power. Herodotus said legends grow when rulers are rarely seen.
Makes sense. Bobby Fischer used absence and unpredictability against Spassky too, didn't he?
He did. His weird behavior, delays, even blunders, it all unsettled Spassky.
Yeah.
His absence before the match built suspense and unease, creates an air of mystery, like Han Fai-Tzu's Enlightened Ruler.
Though the reversal is that sometimes being predictable can be its own smokescreen, setting people up for a surprise move later.
True, which links to Law 17. Keep others in suspense. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. If people know what you'll do, they have power over you.
So be deliberately erratic. Keep them guessing, confused.
Exactly. It disrupts their ability to plan, makes them hesitant, even fearful. Predictability is vulnerability.
But then Law 18 says, do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Seems contradictory.
It's about balance. Unpredictability is good, but total isolation cuts you off. You need information allies. Power happens among people, not away from them.
Like Prince Prospero in Poe's story trying to wall out the Red Death. Didn't work.
Nope. Isolation is futile against real threats. The Spartans became too rigid and isolated, focused only on war, and eventually declined.
Whereas Louis XIV made Versailles the center of everything, forcing people to come to him. The opposite of isolation.
Right. Isolation breeds paranoia, bad decisions. Think of the artist Pontormo hiding away for years to paint. He lost perspective. The work was a disaster. Connection is vital.
Okay, Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. This seems like common sense, but crucial.
Absolutely. People react differently. You need to size people up accurately. Misjudge someone, offend the wrong type, especially the vengeful wolf in lamb's clothing, and you could face relentless trouble.
Green gives that typology opponents, suckers, victims. You need to know who's who. Like Duveen trying to give expensive books to Henry Ford.
Bad move. Ford wasn't impressed by extravagance from strangers. He was almost offended. Duveen didn't understand his target's personality. You have to tailor your approach.
Like Queen Elizabeth I, never fully committing to marriage or war. She understood the people she was dealing with and kept her options open.
Masterful. Or Henry Kissinger offering help to both Nixon and Humphrey. He knew how politics worked, covered his bases, self-interest, understanding others' motives.
And that Jewish folktale about the fox mediating, playing people against each other for your own gain by understanding their flaws, preserve your autonomy.
Which leads directly to Law 20. Do not commit to anyone. Stay independent.
Be the master of yourself. Play factions off each other. Don't take sides too quickly.
Exactly. Committing limits your options. Staying aloof lets you maintain control, potentially profit from others' conflicts. Even siding with the stronger party can be risky if things change. Independence is power.
Okay, Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker seem dumber than your mark. Counterintuitive again.
But effective. Make your target feel smarter, superior. It lowers their defenses, makes them less suspicious. You seem harmless, maybe even a bit foolish.
Like those guys with the fake diamond mine, Arnold and Slack.
Perfect example. They seem so unsophisticated, maybe even lucky fools. That helped convince smart investors, even Tiffany's experts got caught up, that the mine was real. Their apparent lack of cunning was the key to the con.
Though the reversal applies. Sometimes seeming smart is the best cover, like Duveen handling that art critic.
Depends on the situation and the mark. Okay, Law 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. When you're weaker, don't fight for honor, surrender strategically.
The judgment quote is powerful here. Surrender gives you time to recover, time to wait for his power to wane, makes surrender a tool of power.
It's about buying time, regrouping, maybe undermining the conqueror from within. Don't give them the satisfaction of a glorious victory over you.
The people of Melos refusing to surrender to Athens. That was the transgression, right? They fought for honor and were crushed.
Exactly. They didn't use surrender strategically. Or the king of Wu being too lenient with you after defeating them, you used that time to recover and eventually conquered Wu. Strategic surrender, or failing to crush totally, can be fatal.
Okay, Law 23, concentrate your forces. Focus your energy. Don't spread yourself too thin.
Intensity beats extensity. Conserve your resources, aim them at your most important target. The Rothschilds, concentrating their family's financial power, is a prime example. One strong thrust is better than many weak ones.
But there's a reversal for this one, too. Dispersal for the weaker side.
Right, especially in guerrilla warfare. Mao used dispersal effectively against the stronger nationalists. Scattering can preserve your forces when you're outnumbered and avoid a decisive defeat.
So context matters. Finally, for today, Law 24. Play the perfect courtier. Master the art of navigating social power structures.
Basically, learn how to thrive wherever power and politics are central. It's about indirection, flattery, reading the room, asserting power subtly. Think of any environment with a clear hierarchy: corporations, politics, academia.
These are all courts, in a sense, where you need dexterity.
Exactly. Green talks about court society glorifying the ruler,
Yeah.
requiring constant maneuvering for favor, like the Chinese emperors getting warnings through weird omens because direct criticism was impossible. You had to be indirect, subtle, a master of appearances.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot to digest from Laws 1 through 24. We've covered quite a bit of ground, drawing from the sources you provided.
We have. And hopefully this deep dive has given you, the listener, that sharper understanding you were looking for some key principles without having to wade through everything yourself.
Yeah, these laws, these examples, they're often historical, but the human dynamics they reveal, they feel pretty timeless, don't they?
They really do. Understanding them can definitely give you a new lens for looking at, well, almost any interaction, personal or professional.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Think about that tension between seeming powerful and actually being powerful today. Where do you see these dynamics playing out? What are the modern courts where these laws are still very much in effect? Something to consider.